All righty, let's go ahead and get started, get you guys on with your Friday. So the topic for today, as I was saying, is MyQ Project Accounting. Very nice feature for this. It actually incorporates a few different components, not only an experience from the MFP panel, but also the user desktop as well, which may be one of the first times during the series that we've introduced a desktop component to MyQ. We're going to see more of this desktop component in next month's webinar as well, where we're influencing user behavior, but you'll see a little bit of a preview today of the desktop component as well. So let's look at our challenges first. Number one, my customer wants to bill clients for output. You typically see this in legal firms, law firms. If you've ever had the pleasure of dealing with an attorney, you may have just a standard document fee in your invoice from them, or sometimes they may bill you on actual output. That's one of the components of MyQ, is being able to select what I would call a client or matter. This isn't just limited to law firms, though. Think about engineering firms, for example. That's another big category, or accounting firms, very similar in nature to a law firm, obviously different practice areas, perhaps. Even in the instance of internal tracking, if we look at the point number 2 there, my customer needs to track output for internal projects. I've used this at churches or religious organizations, where they kind of want to know which area of their entity these charges are going to. Is this going to, the Sunday school? Is it going to kindergarten? Is this for a field trip or, excursion, things like that? So they can walk up and have that type of tracking. Point number 3, my customer needs to aggregate data from multiple devices. I've seen this where folks have tried to use the built-in or complementary job accounting tracking type features that are built into the MFPs. And you have a few limitations there. Obviously, most of those are typically limited either to 100, 500, maybe 1,000 codes, depending on the type of the device and the manufacturer of it. But then also, if you have multiple devices in the fleet, it's sometimes hard to aggregate that data from 2, 3, 4, 5 devices very quickly, easily at the end of the month, and they're having to reset meters. It's just a very challenging process. I kind of say you get what you pay for, a complementary solution. But MyQ can really nail down that problem, consolidate everything together very nicely for them. In terms of consolidating together, point number 4. My customer wants a reliable automated tool for reporting. Because MyQ is managing all this data centrally, we can quickly and easily generate reports from MyQ, put these on a schedule so that users can receive them. They don't have to worry about, oh, it's the last day of the month, first day of the month, got to run around, reset meters, gather reports, all that stuff. MyQ will handle that automatically for them. So those are the premises we're going to look at today. Let's see, let me go ahead and share my screen now. And I'm going to start at the panel of my MFP. Now, as I said at the start of this recording, I am in Boise, Idaho. This machine I'm connecting to is in my hometown of Columbia, South Carolina. So I am using this over a VPN connection using hotel wireless internet. We all know how great that is most of the time. So there is going to be a slight delay perhaps, but bear with me on that one to keep that in perspective. I'm going to log in with my PIN number. As always, users have to authenticate, PIN number, username, password, badge, select QR code, any of those to unlock the device. And here's where we may see just a bit of a delay as this runs around across the country, Idaho back. Hey, that wasn't too fast considering I'm a couple thousand miles away. So a user walks up, we all know the MyQ experience, the customizable panel interface. In this instance, let's say I need to just make a copy. I'm going to walk up, I work at a law firm, and I'm going to make a copy. Well, I've got my 2 copy icons. We've talked about these in the past, where advanced copy, notice how it has the ellipse, takes you to the traditional manufacturer interface of the device. But we all know 9 times out of 10, the user doesn't need to see all of those copy functions, contrast, density adjustment, sharpness, newspaper mode, all those things that are just kind of cluttering the screen. With quick copy, we can control the user experience. So if I were to touch this icon, the first thing it's going to ask me is, who are you charging this to? I've got a couple favorites, so you see how these are at the top of the list, and then I've got a few more alphanumerical after that. So let's say today, this is James Doe. I think someone's in the lobby. Let me get them admitted. There we go. I think, let's see, James Doe parking ticket. I'm working on that case. So I'm going to select that item, press the green check mark, and then it's going to show me the easy copy, or what I call quick copy interface. I hear someone else in the lobby. I'm sorry to get them in. I want everybody to have a good opportunity to participate. So here, now I can say I want to make 5 copies. I need them in color or monochrome. Let's say color, and I would like them duplexed. The 3 most common options, in my opinion, that folks are using when they go to make a copy: how many, monochrome or color, simplex or duplex. That's the power of the easy copy button. So if I were to press the green check mark now, my device at home is going to make a couple blank copies for me. Oh, I even have on the continuous scan feature. So we'll just say finish. Uh-oh, that's not good. I created a system error. That's what I get for doing this while I'm on the road. So we'll ignore that and move on. But luckily, you guys saw the experience there of a user being able to select a copy code or a project code at the panel of the device. Now, the other way that users can select a project code is when they're sending a print job. So actually, let's look at this top 11 reasons to choose MyQ X. So if I were to print this item, so I'll bring up my print dialog window, you'll notice I have a print driver called MyQ_desktop client. The desktop client is an agent that we can install on the user's workstation. And this is how we are able to interact with the user. So here, if I came in and I said, I just need 2 copies of this, and I'm going to come down and choose OK, it's going to process this print job. Now, what's going to happen in just a few seconds, this job is being sent to MyQ, to the MyQ server. It's going to process that job, and then it's going to send an action back that says you need to select a project code. So here I see the same list. Again, my favorites, alphanumeric, at the top, and then the rest of the list alphanumeric. I could search here as well. So if I had a large list, I didn't show you that on the device panel, but we could do that also. So I could type in a part of a code. Let's say, let me type, I'm just going to type DOE. See how it narrows down the list. I don't have to have the first context. I can just know part of what I'm looking for, even here, MER. And that brings up the merger. There's someone else in the lobby real quick. Let me get them admitted. Go. So I select the project code, press print, and now that job in this case is going to be held for release because I've configured that print driver in a print and follow manner. It could also be using direct print as well, though. Either one of those would work, follow me print or direct print. So far we've seen the user experience from the panel. Now we've just seen when a user is at their workstation and needs to print, how it'll prompt them. In this case, if I didn't have the desktop agent installed, because I am using print and follow, if I were to send that job, when I went to release it at the panel of the device, it would prompt me then to select that job. So let's see. How is this administered in MyQ? Well, I've turned on this feature, and if we come to the MyQ logo on the top left, come down to projects, you'll see that same list that I have created here. You'll notice on the left, you can actually do some grouping. So if I want to have a particular client and then their individual matters listed, with these groups, you can go up to 5 levels deep on those. So we could have a kind of a parent, and then you could have multiple children behind it as well if you wanted to. We can also import projects. So if we're working with an organization and we want to bring all their projects in ahead of time, there's an import option. Just choose a comma separated value file. The very cool part about this, you can import as often as you want. So it's not limited to just the first time we set this up. You can actually put this on a schedule where if they generate this CSV file and put it in a folder, let's say once a day, once an hour, once every 30 minutes, however often they wish to do it, MyQ can automatically import those items. So it keeps the list in sync for them. Okay. The last item we need to speak about regarding projects is the reporting I mentioned to you. So I come down to MyQ logo and select reports. I've already got one of these generated in the My Reports category. So projects monthly summary. I'm going to choose this ellipse and press edit. Come over to the design tab. Just so you can see, I'm looking at all users, all printers, the last 3 months. You could specify this week, last week, this month, however you want to design this report. You can add and manipulate the columns here. So maybe you're not interested in the actual quantity of pages. You just want to know the total price. So you could have the project name, project code, and total price. Let me generate a preview of one of these just to give you a little bit of an idea. So this is kind of the raw data view, what we call the grid view. Let's slide this over and go to the graphical view. And this would be a representation of what the report would look like if we printed it. You guys know we can always replace the MyQ logo. So if we put the customer's logo in, they'll have that personalized aspect of this report, kind of makes it like it's on their letterhead almost. And now you can scroll down and see, here's the different projects I have, the different columns. And in this case, because I was doing multiple months, it's breaking them down for each month. All this data being aggregated in MyQ. And again, we're not having to go around end of the month, first of the month, reset meters, print out the reports, try and get them in a CSV, pull it all together. The time folks waste doing that is something where if you do a comparison by the cost of labor versus the cost of implementing MyQ, could certainly solve this challenge for them. I mentioned these reports can be set up on schedule as well. So I come back to the General tab, and we come down to scheduled run. I've already got mine set up, so I'm going to press edit. I am generating this monthly on the first of the month. So in this instance, I would say I want last month's data. That way on the first, it gives me last month's data at 5 a.m. And we can send it in multiple different formats. Do you want a PDF? Do you want a CSV? Do you want Excel, ODS, XML? So these could be imported potentially into a backend system. They can be delivered via email. They can also be delivered to a file. We could even do both. We could send it to email and a folder. So yeah, maybe they want to have a copy in their inbox, but they're also going to create an import with their backend billing system so that it grabs it out of a folder. So you can have the automated process take care of both kind of in one fell swoop for you. So this has been a highlight or review of the project accounting feature. Now let me see. I didn't mention earlier, we're all going to do the quiz. Let me make sure I covered all the topics for the quiz today. Okay, we did do that. We covered them all. Very good. So what I'm going to do right now, I am going to switch over. We're going to take our little Minty quiz. This is the one where the top 3 participants will have a donation made by MyQ to a charitable organization of their choice. So let me stop sharing my screen. Once we finish the quiz, we'll do our little Q&A as well. So if you do have a question, be thinking about those and get them into the Q&A window. And let me get the quiz set up. Righty. Project accounting, here we go. Should be coming on your screen in just a moment. Okay, should be coming in visible now. Top 3 contestants will have that donation made. Our instructions. On the next screen, the quiz is going to ask you to input your first and last name. Please input your real first and last name. If I don't know who you are and you're one of the winners, we can't reach out to you to find out what type of donation you'd like to have made. So make sure you put in your real first and last name. There'll be a button to join the quiz. At that point, get ready. The questions will pop up. You'll have about 15 seconds to read the question and answer. The faster you answer, the more points you accrue, which will help you keep near the top of the leaderboard. If you're doing this from your mobile phone, don't let your mobile phone go to sleep. All right. So now it should be starting to prompt you for your first and last name. Go ahead and get those in there, get them set. I see several players are ready. All right, 35 players ready to go. Going to give you just a few seconds, get those names typed in, and then we will start the quiz. All right. I trust you've had time now. Let's move forward. Oops, skip it. Sorry. Press enter. There we go. First question. Projects can be associated with jobs at time of print only, device panel only, or both at time of print and at panel. So think about where those users were selecting the project code. I got you. There we go. Very good. Both at time of print and at panel. All right, let's go to the next question. Question number 2. Get ready. Here it comes. Projects can be grouped into how many levels? I mentioned this. 1 level, 3 levels, 5 levels, or 7 levels. How many levels or how many groups can you have when you create projects? I only mentioned this quickly, so let's see how good you guys are paying attention. Oh, most of you got it. It is 5 levels. 5 levels. Trip some of you up with that question, but it is 5 levels deep. Okay, next question. After this question, we'll see the leaderboard and see how we're doing. Projects cannot be imported into MyQ. This is a true-false question. Projects cannot be imported into MyQ. Is that true or false? I don't even think I need to give you guys 15 seconds for this one. That is false. Projects can be imported into MyQ. Next slide, let's see what the leaderboard looks like. If you want to show us the person that answered the last question the fastest, and then it's going to show us the top list as well. All right, Josh. All right, Josh, you're doing good. Got Scott and Chris. Only a couple points separating Chris and Scott. Close one. Let's see. Okay, 2 questions to go. Question 4 of 5. Projects can be automatically imported. Well, we already know this. Let's look at the schedule though. At initial setup only, as often as scheduled, or once per day. Projects can be automatically imported at initial setup, as often as scheduled, or once per day. A little bit of a tricky one here too. Man, everybody got that one. Awesome. Yes, as often as scheduled. Very good. Last question. Get those answers in fast. We're going to see who the winner is after this. Project reports can be automatically exported to a folder only, an email only, or both email and folder. Project reports can be automatically exported to a folder only, email only, or both email and folder. It was the very last item we talked about. Let's see how everyone did. Oh, nailed it. Both email and folder. All right, let's see who our top 3 folks were. Oh, Josh, Michael slid in there. Oh, Scott got knocked out. All right, congratulations, Josh, being number 1. We have Michael, then Chris. So we'll be reaching out to you guys either today or this coming week, finding out what type of organization you'd like to make a donation to. Think about it and be prepared to send us some information. We'll be asking for a URL to that customer or that organization so we can make those donations on your behalf. All right, let me stop sharing the quiz. I'm going to go over to the Q&A window and let's see what type of questions you guys may have inserted here for me. Get this moved around again a little bit. All right, Q&A. I don't see any questions. That looks like someone was typing their name. Typed your name into the Q&A window, perhaps, instead of the quiz. That's okay, though. All right. Let me look in the chat window just to see if anything was inserted in the chat window. Okay, here's one. When you do an import of data, does it timestamp it and don't hold duplicate? It's not going to timestamp the items that are added into the list, but it will not import a duplicate. Let me go over and actually show you that. That's a good question. I probably should have covered that. The setup today has me thrown off my game just a little bit. So when you're adding projects, you can import them or add them manually. I didn't show you this. You're required to input a name and then a code. The code has to be a unique value. The name could potentially be a duplicate value, although I think that would be very confusing for the end users. However, the code is required to be a unique value. So if I were to maybe have this code 321987, and I just changed this from Acme Core Merger to Acme Corporation Merger, as long as the code did not change, the unique value, it would just update this field to have the new name associated with it. Okay, sorry, I've got to stop my screen share to go back and read the others here. Can you give a real world example of a client that is using this? How? Law firms. Law firms are #1 client type of organization that's using this, billing back to their customers, their clients. Another example, accounting firms, engineering firms, and I mentioned earlier, even I've had churches use this as well. Okay, Q&A, let's see. There's a similar question, what type of customers would this feature benefit? I've talked about that one. Don't see any additional questions. Let's come back over to the chat window. Some real estate likes this. Okay, there's helpful input, charging back to agents. I agree that MyQ is an excellent solution for charging agents at a real estate firm. I may approach it a little differently personally, but you could certainly adapt the project accounting feature for that as well. Here's the question, does it create invoices? I wouldn't say that it creates invoices. You could certainly run a project report for an individual client. So if we were to go in, you could pick a client and generate a report specifically for that client. But if you think about, putting your remit check to this address and having their mailing address and your return address so you can fold it and put it in a 2-window envelope or something, it's not going to create invoices. That's where typically you would export the report and then have it imported into your back-end billing system. Will we be able to track plotting and bill for plotting? So when you're saying plotting, I'm going to assume you're referring to a wide format device. No, this would not work with a wide format device. A lot of the premise behind MyQ is actually based on cut sheet. So when we run a number of devices, you count the clicks against those sheets and then charge that way. Whereas in a wide format, you're typically not tracking that based on a click per se or a sheet. That's typically measured in square feet or square meters, something like that. Okay, don't see anything else in the chat window. Let me check the Q&A. Don't see anything there either. Very good. Well, I appreciate everyone attending today. The recording will be made available of this as well if you want to go back and watch it. If you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to me or anyone at MyQ. Any of the account managers here at MyQ will be happy to speak with you further about this feature, do any follow-up you may need. Always keep in mind we're available for customer demos, proof of concepts, any of those type things as well. We're always happy to engage with your end users. Next month, we'll be speaking about end user interaction and perhaps trying to encourage users to think about printing differently. So keep that topic in mind. Be sure to sign up. You'll be receiving the emails from us as well. We'll be posting that on LinkedIn, all those different platforms as well. Thank you all for attending today. I hope you have a great Friday, and I will speak to you again soon.